Hey everybody, how are you tonight? It is Scott Brown here on day 55 of Darren LaCroix's 90-day Facebook Live Challenge. I had someone earlier today ask me kind of a profound question that I had a good answer for, but it's something that I get asked a lot. Why do you not use DISC? And I'm not a proponent of DISC. It's not that it's not a great product. It's not that it doesn't help a lot of people. It's not that it doesn't fit in organizations. I just don't think it does what I'm looking for measurement tools to do. It's not necessarily the one that works for me. So I've chosen to use other tools. I've made that choice. But it's not always a popular choice. Sometimes the best choices that are presented to you, the ones that are the most popular in the marketplace, aren't the ones that are right for you. But all too often we find leaders especially, making choices that aren't necessarily in their best interest, but it's because it's the bright, shiny object that's staring them right in the face. And I'm reminded of an old Russian proverb, one that my friend Mark Guy in Orlando used to say every once in a while. He was born in Siberia and grew up there and moved to the States years ago. But he used to say, if you chase two rabbits, you'll catch neither one. If you chase two rabbits, you'll catch neither one. And what that means is you can only chase one rabbit at a time. You can only do one thing at a time. You have to make a choice. And just because what is right for somebody else doesn't necessarily mean it's the rabbit that you should chase. You have to chase the rabbits that are most beneficial to you. And the bright, shiny object isn't necessarily the one that you should chase. Now, it plays out everywhere around us all the time. But I want to give you an example. I have two dogs, Pepper and Daisy. And they're about 65 pounds each, and they love to chew on stuff. So I get them these bow bones, these bones that are shaped like bows, and they're for heavy chewers because the two of these things will chew through anything. They'll chew through steel practically. But regardless of which one Daisy has, Pepper has to have that one. So if Daisy's chewing the old one, Pepper has the new one. When she realizes that Daisy has the old one, she drops what she has, walks over, whines and cries, distracts her, takes the old one away from her. Well, then Daisy gets up and walks over and takes the new one. And we repeat the process time and time and time again. That just because there are two things doesn't necessarily mean you have to keep making the choice and switching back and forth. But I see it happen so frequently in organizations, and especially with newly minted managers and newly minted leaders, people who've just gone into positions of authority or of supervision, where they think that they have to chase every new toy, every new resource that's out there just because it's there. Sometimes the best one to chase is the one that you already have. You don't need to go chasing something else because it might just be a newer version of the same thing you're already using. Make a choice. Now, I started this by saying I'm not a big fan of DISC. And the reason why I'm not a big fan of DISC is I find it to be a little bit too oversimplified. So the ones that I choose to use are Predictive Index and Myers-Briggs, because I find them to be a little bit deeper, a little bit more beneficial. And when you combine the two of them together, I think they really talk about personality preferences and personality types and traits and preferences in a very good way to be able to help clients and customers and people understand why people do certain things just based upon who they are. But I've used them for years. And just because DISC has become the thing to use and companies say you have to use DISC, the ones I have, the bone that I already have, works incredibly well. And there's no reason to go chasing the new thing just because it's the new thing. So ask yourself, are there things that you're doing in your organization as you're leading, as you're moving forward, that you're only chasing the new thing because it's the new thing, that you're chasing the trend because it's what's hot today, but it's not necessarily the thing that's going to make a big difference in your life, in your organization, with your team? It's always a choice. If you chase two rabbits, you'll never catch either one. You need to make a choice. The Pareto principle says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. But imagine what you could do if you took the 20% of those efforts and kept narrowing that down. 20% of the 20% of the 20% of the 20% of the 20% until you found the one thing that really works and find the tool that works best to make that one thing work better than anything else. And once you've mastered that, then you move on to something else. Then you move on to whatever the next thing is that you need to do. It's not always the bright, shiny object that's the right thing to do. Sometimes it's the tried and true. Sometimes the old bone is the best bone. The new bone is just the one you should give to your sister, because 2 dogs, 2 bones. 2 competitors, 2 bones. You don't have to always win. Sometimes what you have is more than enough. So have a good night, everybody. Hope you have a great evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow on Wednesday. See ya.